Good afternoon. This is Jenny Gee, and I am coming to you from the woods on this astoundingly beautiful day. The snow is gone and the sky is blue and it's warm out. It is truly fall in Cleveland. But I wanted to talk to you today. Every Friday we get together and we talk a little bit about the amazing things that surround us in our own backyards, that are going on in nature that maybe we just haven't taken the time to really think about or wonder about, but that always seem to point to this amazing creativity of God. And so back with you today. This month, or in October, we were talking about some of the different things that the changing length of day precipitates happening. Bird migration, bat hibernation, and color change of the leaves. And so we kind of touched on those things. And now we're in November, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, you've probably started raking, right? Because a lot of the leaves have fallen. So instead of just talking about fall color, I want to talk to you a little bit today about leaf fall, okay? So we have two different main groupings of trees. We have deciduous trees, which are the things with the big flat leaves in general, that fall off in the fall. And we have coniferous or needle-bearing type trees, evergreen trees that will hold on to their needles throughout the year. Now, that doesn't mean that evergreens, sprout out their needles, hold on to those needles, and that's all they ever have. They continually shed. I have a white pine in the front yard, and we're always raking in the fall all the yellow needles that have fallen off, but they've been replaced, and they stay needle bearing. They stay leaf. That's their leaf bearing throughout the winter time. So whenever I talk to anybody about raking, we can do our front yard sort of because we have a maple up there, and the maple is empty of its leaves right now. And then in our backyard, our tulip loses its leaves right away, and our two oak trees will literally hold on to a giant amount of their leaves through January. And so we end up raking a lot of times in the springtime. So, all right, so let's talk about the why of that. And kind of get into a whole bunch of different little things that I just want to throw this all out there and see what you think. So here I'm standing underneath a maple, and this is further out into my backyard. So, and if you look up into there, you'll see it is pretty empty of its leaves. And then I'm just going to go over here and show you the beech trees, which are anything but empty. And that's also true of the oaks right now. So the oaks and the beech are holding on to their leaves, and will do so for quite some time yet. So why? Okay, because that's what I always like to kind of dig into, and I was reading a bunch of things, just figuring out what scientists know, and it's my favorite answer, and it's we're really not too sure why. So here's a couple of the theories that are put out there. One, as far as the evolution of trees, long ago, the first trees were all evergreen trees. Those were the earliest of the tree species. And then as ranges began to be expanded and trees were able to live in different areas around the globe, say, and evolution took place, the types of, the way that trees do tree things, the way that they photosynthesize and all of that changed with where they were. And so evolution occurred, and we began to see this great diversity of flat-leafed trees, deciduous trees. And deciduous actually comes from the Latin word meaning to fall off. So literally their name means they're going to lose their leaves. So evolutionarily speaking, what benefit is this? Well, they don't have the heavy snow all over them in the wintertime. If they live in an area like here where it's warm and sunny and then it's cold and snowy, we have all that time in the summer where their big old leaves can be gathering up the sunshine and helping them photosynthesize at a high rate. And then in the fall, they drop them so that the winter snows don't weigh down their branches, break their branches. It also helps them conserve energy because they get to drop those things that are, open to drying out, that are no longer able to pull water up. For a tree, wintertime is like drought time. So they're no longer able to do the water pull and then do the photosynthesizing. So it's just better for them not to have the leaves. So as time went on, this is how they kind of evolved. And then we have our needle-bearing trees, our evergreens, I should say, that are holding on all through the winter to some of their leaves and sprouting new ones as old ones fall off. So we have both. Now, some scientists think that along this evolutionary continuum, or I don't even know what you want to call it, that maybe oaks and beech especially are just a little less evolutionarily developed. They're still holding on to some of those traits of evergreen. They hold on to their leaves, right? Okay, but is there any benefit to them? Because that's the thing in nature. You always have to wonder, well, why is a cave fish blind? Well, because its eyes really just aren't much use, so why put the energy into them, right? So what is the benefit for these oak and these beech to hold on to their leaves? And there's a few different things. Now, if you look at, and again, I kind of tried to pick a spot in my yard that I felt lives, I can't see. There we go. All right, so here's a little guy. This is a little beech tree. All right, and the little beech trees will definitely be holding on to leaves all the way through till springtime. And it is thought that helps them keep deer from maybe eating all of the branches up. Maybe they'll pull off some leaves, but the deer aren't going to want to eat these dried up leaves. And they act sort of as a protector of all the little buds that are underneath, and they kind of cover them up. Also, if you think about a tree, I'm going to turn around again. If you think about trees that have that many leaves that they're holding on to in the wintertime, they will hold a lot of snow. And as long as their branches don't break from the heaviness of the really heavy wet snows that we get, then they hold on to that and they allow that snow then to drop down to the ground right at their base, and that they get to take up that water, that it's there for them. But one of the really interesting things that scientists wonder about and think that maybe this activity of holding on to leaves has a purpose for these trees is a word called marcescence. It's kind of a cool word. That's your new word of the day, marcescence, which is literally this phenomenon of some trees holding on to their leaves beyond fall. Okay? But they think that maybe what it is a way of them holding on to these nutrients as the leaves themselves. And you'll see in the fall they're very in the spring they're already kind of almost decayed. They're very brown. They're very lightweight. They're very crunchy. That they hold on to them and then they drop them in the spring. And this isn't so much in a yard as much as it would be in the woods, right? And that they are allowing themselves, they're giving themselves their own compost. They're dropping their leaves right at their base. Those leaves will break down and become nutrients to go back into the soil to be used by the tree when it's expending all that energy in the springtime, which is really, wow, kind of cool, kind of amazing. I like that. I like that idea, that theory. So who knows? God knows why we have some trees that shed all of their leaves. My apple trees haven't had a leaf on them since August, and others that it'll be January and they'll still be holding on. Just such a great variety in nature, and that it's not just, well, that's just how it is. There's probably a reason for this difference, and God understands it better than we do, which I think is just really cool. So get out there and notice, the different stages that the leaves in your backyard are in right now. If you get a chance to get out to the park this weekend and walk around, take a look at things that are still literally green on the trees, and then other trees that are as empty as can be, and others that are still holding on to some of that color. It's just an amazing, beautiful time of year right now. So that's it. I hope you have a really great weekend, and I hope that when you do get out and about, that you wonder and are curious about God's amazing creativity out there in nature. So I will see you Sunday, and again next Friday. Bye.